Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. I was at a client's office this morning talking to a sales team, and one of the guys I was talking to has been in the business for a long time. He's an expert. He's a pro. Been doing this a long time. Technically, he knows as much about what he does as anybody. And he said that he lost a sale where he was in head-to-head competition with somebody who'd been in the business 6 months. And he was laughing at himself, and he says, "What the hell?" And he goes back to his prospect, who now was somebody else's customer, and said, "What happened?" And somebody else's customer said, "Well, got to tell you, the guy had been there 6 months. He outsold you. He outsold you, right? Wow." And my client was like, "What the hell? What happened?" And so we talked about it. And I said, let's see if this is what happened. And I told him about the dummy curve, which is an effectiveness curve. And if you're watching this on video, it's shaped kind of like a U, right? With a flat line on either side. So at the top, it goes flat and then it goes down. And then on the other side, it goes flat again. So two horizontal lines at the top and then a U in the middle. So if you look at the left side of that U, we call this the period of time, and this is over a continuum of time, right? So when you start in a business and you don't know anything, right, you're a dummy, in effect, right? And so all you have is questions. There's a cute story I heard about this, and I'm going to make you indulge me with this. A young man goes to work at a hardware store. It's his first job. He doesn't know anything about hardware, doesn't know anything about the store, but he got his first job and he was excited. Right? And the sales manager came up to him, the manager of the store came the first day and said, "Look, you don't know shit about hardware. I know that. We're going to send you to product school in about 2 weeks. But until then, sit on this stool up front. If somebody asks you a question, do your best to answer it. Just don't screw things up. We'll get you to product school. You'll be fine then." He goes, "Okay." But this boy's electric. He's sitting on the chair. He's waiting for somebody to come in. And soon enough, a little old lady came in. And she looked at him and he jumped up and she said, "Can you help me find a heater?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to help you find a heater." And he goes, "Oh, shit, I don't know where the heaters are." And so he kind of takes her by the hand and they walk through the store and he sees the aisle that says heaters. And he goes, "Oh, okay, well, I don't know what they'll do here." But he turns around to her and says, "Tell me something. What do you need a heater for?" And she said, "Well, I've got this house and it's cold in the back room where I watch television. And if I put a blanket over my knees, I spill food on it. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather just have a heater in my back room to heat it up." He goes, "Oh, okay." And so he walks down to the section of the aisle where heaters are. And he notices there's freaking 30 feet of heaters, 5 shelves high. He's got no idea. And he realizes that some are $1,000 and some are as cheap as $25. And he says, "Man, we got heaters from $25 to $1,000. Any particular range you want to be in?" She goes, "Well, I don't want to spend $1,000, but I don't want to spend $25 either. It might burn my house down. So probably somewhere around $100 makes sense." And he goes, "Okay, that makes sense." And then all of a sudden he gets to the $100 heater section. He goes, "Okay, wow, there are a whole bunch of these too." He goes, "They're different colors. There's red, white, and blue, and green." He says, "You know what kind of color you might want?" And she said, "Well, let's see. My rug is blue, so I don't want to get a blue one because I'd trip over it. Maybe I should get a red one or a white one." And he says, "Any preference?" And she says, "Well, maybe white." So he gets her a white one, takes it down, says, "What a great purchase," whatever, walks up to the front, checks her out or lets someone else check her out. And the lady goes over to the manager and says, "What a smart young man you have. I love working with him. You've really hired a good one over there." Right? Little boy's so excited. The manager's excited. And this story repeats itself 10, 15, 20 times, maybe more, between then and when he goes to product school. And the manager is fired up. He says, "Holy shit, this is great. We're going to send you to product school. When you start to know something, you're going to be amazing. God, you're going to be the best guy we've ever had." So the kid eventually goes off to product school. and he learns everything. He's an A student. He memorizes everything. He's got all the ideas, all the features and benefits of everything in the store. And he is ready. He goes back to his magic stool and he's waiting on somebody to come in. And this gentleman comes in and says, "Hey, I'm here to buy a cooler. Can you help me find a cooler?" And the boy goes, "Hell yeah, I can find you a cooler. Heck, have I got a deal for you? Best cooler in the world. This Yeti 600, we've got it on sale. This will keep your ice frozen for 2 weeks. And if bears ever attack, they won't eat your beer. And it's the greatest cooler ever. You'd be a fool to buy any other cooler. I mean, it's on sale. It's 25% off, so it's only $525. Can I ring you up?" And the guy's like, "Wow, that's boy, really great. Love to hear about that. Let me think it over. That seems like a lot. Seems like a big decision for me to make." And he walks out the door and he's gone. Now, the truth was, the gentleman was going to take his grandson fishing, right? He has a big cooler already. He wanted a small styrofoam cooler because he doesn't give a shit about the environment, right? And he just wanted something to keep the kids sandwich and drink cold while they went fishing. And the salesman overwhelmed him and almost shamed him that if he didn't buy the big cooler, he'd be making a big mistake, right? So he didn't make the sale. So if you look at this curve, up at the top, right, he's on that top line, he's a dummy, doesn't know shit. All he knows to do is ask questions because he doesn't know anything about the products. Now we send him to school and he becomes an expert and he knows everything and he thinks that sales is all about the product. All I need to know is everything about the product and people buy these features and benefits and this is what I need to do. Well, guess what? He didn't sell shit for a long time. He was way too excited, spent way too much time on product information, not enough time on understanding people. And so the far side of this curve, when we go back up to much higher effectiveness, this is a professional. This is somebody that realizes that the person who's coming in to buy, the person you're talking to about buying, they're a person. And they've got things they're trying to solve. They have problems they're trying to solve, but it's not just the problem, right? What's the real reason they would make a decision? And the professional salesperson knows, I need to spend a little bit of time and find out more about why than just, I need some of this, right? And so the real professional, they may never talk about the product or service in the sales call. That's what's so crazy. I will tell you the same thing. And my guess is this happened to my badass professional sales guy. He went in there and it was a slam dunk for him. He went and told him blah, 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 blah about all this shit. And another kid who'd only been in the business for 6 months said, why do you think you'd switch? What would you be hoping would happen? What would you hope would happen if you did switch? Is that big of a deal? Imagine if you were that big of a dummy to ask those stupid questions. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales School. We work with teams just like yours every day, to help them fix sales problems, make more money, make them look better, make the company more profitable. You want to talk about that for your team? Happy to have a conversation. 803-917-2817, walker@walkermckay.com. Thanks. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.